sausages and apples and onions. These are 3 large sweet onions. I still have Vidalias, so I used those, but you could just use yellow onions. No biggie. And I cooked them with 2 fresh bay, a little sprinkle of ground thyme, white pepper, and salt. 3 softball-sized onions for 4 people. Now I'm going to add 2 apples. I'm cooking this in 2 turns of the pan of olive oil, and I added a couple tabs of butter as well. Now, to the apples, we're going to add a little nutmeg and a little lemon. Squirt of lemon juice. And a little freshly grated nutmeg. Now for the sausages, you put a little bit of water, like 1/8 of an inch, into the pan. These are cooked sausages, of course. We're heating them through and then crisping their casings. But even with a raw sausage, I start it in a little bit of liquid, and then you let the liquid evaporate, and the drippings from the sausage will crisp and brown the casings themselves. So now let's make the dressing for our cabbage. So I have a small pot, and I'm just going to let the oil heat up with 2, it's about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, I guess. And I have 2 slices of meaty bacon that I finely chopped. I'm going to let that render. Okay, guys, the apples look lovely, and I just wanted them tender crisp. I don't want them to go too far. So I'm going to add about 1/2 bottle of a nice light lager. Our little tiny bacon bits have rendered out in a little olive oil. And to this pan, just like German potato salad, we're going to add about 1/4 cup of cider vinegar. We're going to melt in a little light brown sugar, about 2 tablespoons. And we're going to add about the same amount of grainy Dijon mustard. And we're going to put in a fat pinch of pepper, or this is a 5 peppercorn blend, actually, that I use for this. And we'll just let that thicken up just a touch. Meanwhile, for the cabbage, we're going to add, oh my gosh, I forgot to put the shallots in. What an idiot. No biggie. Let them simmer for a minute. It's just 1 shallot, minced, and a little grated garlic. We'll just let it hang out in there for about a minute or 2, and it'll be fine. This is caraway, this is cumin, and this is paprika. And all I do is I take rounded teaspoon each, and I mix that together. All I do for this is barely trim the core, and these are those little teeny arrowhead skinny cabbages, right? So there's not much to trim. And then you gotta kind of configure it depending on the shape of your cast iron skillet. You might have to cook these in 2 batches. And we're going to get these guys around the edges first and then build into the center to figure out the math of this. It's kind of like putting a mosaic together. Now with the arrowhead for 4 people, I'm actually using 2 cabbages because they're small. If you have 1 large cabbage, you can cut it into 8 wedges. It'll be substantially larger than these 2 little guys that I have. A little more spray oil all around. And we're going to season the cabbage itself with a little salt and pepper, layering in our flavors everywhere here, right? Then we're going to take our spice mix and put a little sprinkle of that on this side, and then when we flip it around, we'll hit it with the remainder. And then we're going to layer in that sweet and sour German-style dressing all over those wedge hot slaws. So here's the veal bockwurst, the smoky bratwurst, Maria's chicken and apple sausages, and right down the middle, tons of sweet onions and those tender, crisp apples.